Okay, so following on from lesson 1, okay, where you were sort of trying to pick a topic, and then obviously we were looking at how you'd start to develop a sketchbook and do observation drawing in your sketchbook to build up your references that you can use for ideas for colours, patterns and shapes to develop designs in other materials. Just want to give you some reminders for really getting some good tone into your work. So remember, always use a sharp pencil. Remember that when you're starting off, press more firmly on the darker areas. Slowly take the weight off the pencil so it becomes light more gradually, like in the first photo. Then remember, if you remember the shape sheets in year 8, anything that's curved will have dark to light shading, so it looks three-dimensional. And also anything that's behind something will have dark to light shading. That tells your brain what is in front of the other, so it gives it depth of tone and realism. Okay, so the example here is a trainer, where I try to show an example of where the shading would go. So obviously the curved areas like the heel of the shoe and the toe of the shoe, you can see they have dark to light shading. Also the inside of the shoe, the back is behind the front, therefore it's got dark to light shading there. So that tells your brain again how it gives a sense of depth and a three-dimensional sort of look to your drawing, and also it gives it realism. The same with the laces. Okay, so if something's curved, it has dark light shading. If one part of the lace is behind another part, that would have a shadow on it, and that tells your brain what is where and gives it its realism. Exactly the same in colour pencil. If you look at the blue drawing, when it's just got one colour, exactly the same principle as just shading in pencil. You're pressing harder on the darker areas, you slowly take the weight off the pencil as you shade, and it becomes light gradually. So gradually going from dark through medium into light, and that gives it that 3D look. You can, if you want a more depth of tone, you can layer colours, so you can use slightly darker shades of colours on top of each other. So in the first drawing we just used dark to light shading in pink, but then I've added dark to light shading in lilac on top of that to give it a little bit more depth. And then finally, if you want something that's sort of to look very three-dimensional, then trying to add a darker tone again for the darkest tones, but still keep that gradual dark to light shading for realism and to give it the look of three-dimensional work. Okay, so here I've just done, it's a bit oversimplified, the leaf and the petal, but it gives you again an idea of how you would use those layers on an object. So just wherever it's curved, again, like on the start of the leaf, it's started with a dark to light shading. I've added a slightly darker shade on top of that, so it's a bit more three-dimensional and it's got better tone. And then on the petal, starting again with dark to light in the lightest tone I wanted to use, and then adding darker shades on top of that to give it a more three-dimensional look. Okay, so that is something I would focus on when you're doing your observation drawing, trying to get really good quality depth of tone and gradual shading in your work to help it look as realistic as possible. Okay.